Now I'm back inside the studio here, and joining me is former Celtic striker Danny Craney. And Danny, first of all, it's great to have you with us.
Great to be here, Kenny, thank you.
It's a big day, of course, for everyone associated with the club. It's a first game for Ronny Deila back at Paradise. It is, of course, Flag Day as well, so you'd be expecting a victory.
First of all, I think there's going to be a full house, Kenny, so that's a big thing for the manager to see and get involved in. I certainly think we'll get a victory, but I don't think it'll be easy. In fact, I think there might be a few goals in the game.
Well, I think we've got a perfect opposition here if we're looking for a stern test, because you talk about starting the season well, pre-season jitters, all that sort of thing, but nothing of the sort for Dundee United. It seems it's a team that seemed organised under Jackie McNamara. They've carried on for the last season and they've been very impressive so far. Especially,
and you think that they've lost two of their best players, the two young kids. One that went to Portugal and young Robertson went down to Hull. But they've brought in a striker from abroad, and we're looking at the team today, they look as if they're playing an attacking line-up again. And I think that's Jackie and Simon Donnelly's philosophy, you know, attacking football for Dundee United, and it done so well for them last year.
You can see a kind of gradual sense of progression though, can't you, with Dundee United? Since Jackie McNamara came in, a new manager, of course, new ideas, as we often say. He's come in, he's trying to put his own stamp on the team, and so far it seems to be working, but it seems with every game we just see a little bit more of, for want of a better word, Jackie's personality coming out in the team. Yeah,
I think when you've seen Jackie as a player here, he started off quite, maybe not timidly, but you know, he worked his way into the team, and then he became a mainstay. Jackie McNamara was one of the first names in the team sheet, whether it be right back, right midfield, even times at centre half, and Jackie never let the team down. So I think he'll he's certainly giving young kids the chance, and he'll be able to give them that confidence to say, here's how my career went, and I'm willing to give you guys the chance as well.
First of all, Danny, that's the Dundee United team. We've got the Celtic team for you just now as well. Starting in goal is Craig Gordon, carrying on, of course, some fine form against St Johnstone the other night. Looking at the back four, we have, of course, the usual Adam Matthews in at right back. An interesting change at centre half, Virgil van Dijk, and a first start for Jason Denninger. We'll come back to it, having a wee moment. Milo Giri back in at left back, as you would imagine, where he's impressed for a number of years, of course. Into the midfield, we understand it could be a midfield two of Charlie Mulgrew, Stefan Johansson. With on the flanks, we have Callum McGregor and Joe Inge Berget. And up front, dependent on the way that they line up, will be Anthony Stokes and Chris Commons. And very briefly on the bench for the boys is Lucas Zaluska, Efe Ambrose, Neil Baton, Dirk Barrett, Lee Griffiths, Beram Kayal, and number 49, James Forrest. Well, there's a photograph of the new boy, Jason Denninger. Debuts don't come bigger than better than this, surely, when you're turning out a full Paradise on Flag Day. Yeah,
no, and you can say he's coming from a big club. He's coming from a big, well, you'd call him big club recently, the money they're spending. But I don't think he'll have ever witnessed anything he's going to witness today, with 62,000 people there, you know, singing Walk On at the start of the game. So I'm led to believe he's a ball-playing centre-half, which maybe a wee bit cause a wee bit of problem with Virgil on the other side, being a ball-playing centre-half. But I think that's what the manager wants to do. And I think if you want to go further in Europe, we've got to play from the back rather than just lump it forward.
What's your thoughts on Joe Inge Berget, the loan signing? A bit about his background. He had, of course, signed with Udinese, I understand, back in his early career. Obviously a talented prospect as he was coming through the ranks. Eventually spent some time on loan at Strømsgodset. You can tell I've practiced saying that, Strømsgodset. Under Ronny Deila, picked up the league winners medal, of course. He's obviously someone the manager rates very highly. We saw him through the middle against St Johnstone the other night. I thought he looked very impressive, very handy on the ball. But the manager has a confidence about him to play him out wide or on either flank or through the middle.
Yeah, I must say, Kenny, it's going to be a first timer for me seeing him. I've not seen the lad play yet, but it is a big confidence boost if the manager's shoving in these games right away. Usually you take maybe 4, 5, 6 games on the bench coming on to find your feet with the team and the club. But it looks as if the manager fancies this guy right away and he's putting him in. So if he does the business, he'll keep the jersey.
Now, this is going to be my link. I've got to bring it in, Danny. And getting chucked in at the deep end. We've got to go back to your career. I mean, come on, we talk about coming
out. Oil now, yeah.
We talk about coming chucked in at the deep end. You're the one that made the obvious start, of course. And when you were coming on to those early games, you know, in your early Celtic career, the manager was also having a couple of words to you. Do you think it's a kind of similar thing we're going to see these days with Ronny Deila saying to you, Jason Denninger, for example, Joe Inge Berget never played at Celtic Park, just go out and enjoy it, basically?
Yeah, without a doubt. In my case, it was obviously Billy McNeil was the manager and John Clark was his assistant, and they were just great at pulling you aside. You know, I remember my first game here against Partick Thistle. I was playing for the youth team over at Lesser Hampden, and we were 3-0 up at half time. I get taken off at half time. Billy McNeil said, "Do you think you were playing well today?" And I thought, yeah. He said, "No, you played better than that. You're in the first team today." So just things like that, you know, and giving you that confidence, you're straight in. So it looks as if the manager's that type of guy.
Well, I mean, the example surely must be Callum McGregor.
Exactly.
He's the man who's just come in. The manager said to him, "What can you do for me as an attacking threat?" And he's delivered not only good performances but goals as well.
Yeah, and you've covered it all there, Kenny, but the important thing for me is, in the games that the manager's made substitutions, he's taken off some big names, and McGregor's not come off yet. He's kept McGregor on, where he's took Commons off, he's took Stokes off, he's took Griffiths off. McGregor's not been substituted yet, which again must be a massive boost to the kid.
What was interesting, we spoke to Callum McGregor after the game in Reykjavik. We spoke to him as well at the disappointing night in Midfield, asking about what the manager said to him, and I think this is the sort of word you want to hear as an attacker. I was saying, what's your pre-match thoughts on him? And the manager simply said, and Callum said to me about the manager, sorry, go out and attack. And if anything, the manager had a little dig at him for not attacking more often, so he's got that freedom to go and lose the ball if he wants to. I mean, you must know yourself, having that as an attacker must just be an incredible sense of confidence from it. Yeah,
and especially at home, Kenny. I think I really admire if the manager's going to do that away from home as well, but I think you've got to maybe consolidate a wee bit when you're away from home. But at Celtic Park, certainly, it'll be wave after attack, and Callum hopefully will be at the centre of that today.
Interesting as well, we've seen, of course it's disappointing seeing Scott Brown injured again, but we've seen this slowly emerging partnership now of Charlie Mulgrew and Stefan Johansson. They are players that have that ability to play it short and play it long, and it's difficult to try and temper that when you're the opposition.
I think you're spot on there, Kenny. I think the manager really has a place for Charlie Mulgrew in the way he wants to play. Charlie will go and get it from the centre halves or from the full-backs, and you can say Charlie can play a wee 10-yarder and get it back, or he can hit a 40-yard diagonal pass. But Charlie just doesn't get the ball forward for the sake of it. It's long passes Charlie plays, not long balls. It's long passes, and they always hit their target.
There's an accuracy there.
Yeah, Johansson gets a bit about the pitch more dynamic like Scott Brown. Yeah, but I like Mulgrew in the system that the manager's playing.
So I think we've seen a different side to Charlie Mulgrew because we've seen Scott Brown having to drop out. He's assumed the captaincy. He's someone who knows what it means to play for Celtic, having come through the youth ranks, went away and came back. He must be the sort of guy that the younger guys maybe have a wee word to and say, you know, am I doing well? You know, that kind of mature role.
Without a doubt, and although I'm not looking at the media and that kind of, any interview Charlie Mulgrew does, it's worth reading. Any young kids should read it. The supporters should read it. You hear the same old answer sometimes for certain players, but Charlie Mulgrew really talks about the game and his affinity with the Celtic, not only as a player, as when he was a kid, as a supporter.
Now, Danny, what we've done with a number of our viewers, we said you're going to be in here, of course. We put that photo up of you, was it a couple of years ago? We'll say you're about 18, so it was about 10 years ago roughly.
Maybe, yeah.
Aye. We asked a couple of our viewers to email in a couple of questions for you. We've got one here from Jared Duckwell, a regular viewer, should I say, and one who sends an email almost every week. Jared, good to hear from you as always, pal. He says, happy Flag Day to everyone in the Celtic family. We're looking forward to a good game of football here, winning the attacking way. It's our tradition. Good luck to Ronnie as well. A question I have for Danny, in his time playing for the Hoops, who was your favourite player on the pitch that obviously shared the Hoops with you? Who would you say is your hero? Well, not hero, who's the one your favourite player?
Without a doubt, Danny McGrain. I say this to a lot of people and they don't really get what you're saying. Danny McGrain played right back for Celtic, and he decided what pace the game was played at, where it was quick, slow, build up, direct, and a lot of people say, how can a right back, full back do that? And the regard of Danny McGrain, and the best player I played against was Rangers' Sandy Jardine, and Danny McGrain went and played left back for Scotland so that Sandy Jardine could play right back. So that shows you the player Danny McGrain was.
Do you think Danny McGrain was recognised for how good a player he was? I mean, I think with the Celtic support, it goes without saying he's up there with, you know, some of the greats ever donned the jersey. But when you were playing him in the kind of the wider world of football, do you think people understood how good he was? Yeah,
I do. I mean, we didn't go very far in European competitions, but I do think that Danny was regarded worldwide. I mean, I've seen a lot of players who have done their World 11, and Danny always gets a mention. So yeah, I think Danny was known worldwide, and rightly so in my opinion.
A couple of quick shout-outs as well coming in here. We've got one from Stephen Blackburn, who's listening in Kirkintilloch. He simply says, "Morning the Hoops" as well. Sorry, I should apologise. He's from Kirkintilloch. He's out in sunny Albufeira in Portugal. Stephen, I'd imagine you wished you're here in the glorious rain of the east end of Glasgow. A shout out to Connor Burrows as well. Just simply says, "Come on, you boys in green." A quick final shout-out to Colin Crawford, and another point for you, Danny. Sorry, Craig Gordon made some really great saves against St Johnstone. What I should say, what is it like having a new goalkeeper come into a team when you've got that kind of strength that we had with Fraser Forster? Is it a difficult transition, do you think?
I think it will be, but Craig Gordon seems to be the guy who's taking it in his stride, and again, his interviews have been very intelligent as well. You know, he's no shouting his mouth off saying what he's going to do, what he's not going to do. And the manager again has showed great faith in him, because Zaluska's been at the club for a long now. You know, it looks like Gordon's been given the jersey first, and if he performs, he's going to keep it. The guy's used to big games. He went down to England. He played in big games, Hearts, Hibs. He's played for Scotland. I know there'll be nothing like playing for Celtic in front of 62,000 people, but he looks a confident enough guy. I think he'll be able to handle it. Yeah.
Well, we had an old friend of yours, Peter Latchford, in here on Thursday for the Huddle Online. He was saying to us that if you look at it on a purely statistical level, Celtic have actually signed a more experienced goalkeeper for obviously next to no money at all, should I say, as a free agent, and that's got to be good for like when you're building a team as Ronnie Deila is from the base up. Definitely.
I mean, I think Craig Gordon will be really recognised throughout Europe, but maybe with the injury he had in his time out of the game, it put people off. But Celtic had him in here for a few months, if I'm right, so it wasn't just a loose decision. They had a look at him in training, they had a look at him with the fitness guys, and the manager kept saying he's progressing well, and now they've offered him a contract, so here's hoping it works out for him.
Also as well, Daniel, let's take your thoughts on what the manager's been saying. The manager always uses the word philosophy for how he likes to play the game, of course. There's always this talk of a footballing philosophy, this 4-3-3. We were speaking earlier, you said it's a formation which you think would suit the way Celtic typically play the game.
Yeah, without a doubt. Again, I'll say, Kenny, more so at home, and definitely if you're at home in Europe where you've got to get points, if we get into the Champions League proper. Away from home, I would go a wee bit more defensive, maybe pack the midfield, maybe just play with the single striker up front, which I hate saying, but definitely at home, 3 up front for me is the way to go, and I think the fans will, you know, they'll buy into that.
Do you think in terms of James Forrest as an example, I think he got an hour against St Johnstone the other week. He's had such a tough time with injury. I think that goes without saying. Yeah. The Celtic support more than know that. Do you think that sort of formation suits the type of James Forrest player, where you just get the ball down and drive it the back line?
I think if the manager's going to play with 3 and James gets his fitness up, we've heard the manager talking about he's not in the right shape just now, which is unfortunate because James has been unlucky with injury. But I think if he's going to play 3 up front and James Forrest is fully fit, he'll be playing. Definitely if they're playing a front 3, James Forrest will play. He's the guy that will take the ball for a walk, you know, give the defenders a breather for 10, 15, 20 seconds. And if James is fully fit and on his game, he's got to play for us.
We'll wait and see. Hopefully he might get some time later in the game as he manages his return to first team football. Now, Danny, I've mentioned this to you already. Today is Flag Day. It's Ronnie Deila's first game at home, of course. It's also, unofficially or officially, Bunnet Day. Fergus is back here, of course. He's going to be the guest of honour. He is the guest of honour, and I think this is a fitting time to look back on everything that he's done for the club. We've been asking you, of course, to get in touch with us with your photographs wearing a bunnet. I've actually done this one myself as well, so we've got a couple ones here to give you a shout out. That's a recognisable face, as to say, next to Kevin McCann there wearing his bunnet. We've got another one here in from Charlie Semple. That's him wearing his bunnet. So remember, guys, all you've got to do is very simply email into comments@celticfc.com, or you can also catch us on Twitter @Celtic TV. Just while we've got you here as well, Dan, we'll go through a couple of the tweets we've gotten in. A couple of shout outs first of all. One to Jerry, one to JP Burton, guys. Thanks for getting in touch. I think everybody's really looking forward to today's game, I think, by the reaction we've got here. Danny Fairbairn has got in touch as well. Sharon Grant, guys, thanks as always. A shout out to the guys in East Texas here. Please give a big shout out to the boys and girls from the Lone Star Celtic Supporters Club. More than happy to do that as well, guys. Couple of quick shout outs as well to James Henderson, to Paddy Campbell as well. One from David Burke, and a quick shout out finally to Danny Lenihan, who, as you would imagine, has tweeted in, and he's talking about a certain goal that you scored. I'll give you 2 guesses which one it is his favourite.
It must have been the one in 86 seconds against Rangers.
I think it is. How did you know that?
Not the first 2 minutes, 86 seconds, Kenny. I've only watched it 86 times.
It strikes me that you might get asked about that quite a lot.
Yeah, it's strange as well, Ken. It's not the most glamorous goal I ever scored. It's from about 2 yards and it didn't hit the net. But it was an important goal. We went on to win 2-1 that day, and of course went on to win the league that season. So it's a goal I'll never forget. Yeah.
I'd imagine it's something that you might get tired of getting asked about, but I don't care. I'm still going to ask you about it anyway. What was it like being that age? The team was depleted with injuries. They chuck you on. You're a die-hard Celtic supporter. You know that already, Danny, of course. But what was it like? Try and put it into words for us.
Without being big-headed, I knew I was playing in the run-up to the game, and I was looking forward to it. George McCluskey was out injured, so I was playing up front with Tam McAdam. Tam was usually a centre-half. Davy Moyes played that game at centre-half. So but I remember in the dressing room, Davy Probin not just saying, we're going to win the day, guys. I remember Davy Probin saying to Danny McGrain, how much are we going to win by the day? That was a philosophy then in the dressing room. And if you look at the results in the early 80s, Celtic did have upper hand against Rangers. I don't think I played particularly well that day. I really don't. I mean, Sandy Jardine, I think, taught me a lesson. But I scored, helped me get my league medal, and helped us get that league flag.
Doesn't get better than that. Does not get any better than that. Final couple of quick emails before we hand over to Paul and Tom in the commentary position. As you can see, the preparations are well in place here for the unfurling of the Championship flag. Very quickly, a shout out to Tom Turley, who's in Thomastown in Australia. He says, just simply give my best to Danny from Turkey. He's a Kilsyth boy after all. A shout out to Kelly Hendry as well. Matt and Kelly, who regularly email as well. Kelly, Matt and are joined by Mick, watching from Adelaide in South Australia. Come on, the hoops. Now Danny, as I said, before we hand over to Paul and to Tom, predictions for today. How do you see this one going?
I think the fans are in for an exciting game. I think it might be a wee bit nerve-wracking at times, but I'm going for a high-scoring 3-2 victory to Celtic. 3-2 victory? 3-2 victory.
And can you give us an idea of the scorers? Have you picked them out yet?
We'll go for Commons, Stokes and McGregor.
Fantastic. Well, remember to get in touch with us at half-time as well. Comment at CelticFC.com or at Celtic TV on Twitter. But from myself and Danny in the studio, we can now go over to Paul Cuddihy and Tom Boyd in the commentary position.
Thanks very much, Kenny. Yes, good afternoon. A very warm welcome to Paradise, the home of the champions, and it is very good to be back home. We've been through in Edinburgh for a couple of games at Murrayfield, but there's nowhere quite like Celtic Park. And this afternoon it is Flag Day. As Kenny says, I'm delighted to be joined by a man who knows all about Flag Days. Tom Boyd, you were here in fact the last time Fergus came out on the pitch to raise the flag, 1998, a very momentous title triumph then, and it's a special time then, I take it, as a Celtic player, as a captain, to remember a title triumph.
Oh, very, very special. I was fortunate enough as well to be able to be part of that party, Fergus, and the gentleman that came in from the stand as well, so I forget his name just now. So yeah, it was a fantastic day, and you know, I took the pressure off of Fergus, you know, because I was the one that was getting booed rather than at that time. But no, seriously, I see the sun trying to come out today. Hopefully make it a very special day for us. It's we always say at this time of year, and we've done it for a number of years now, is that we're looking back at the credit that the team got for last season, and this is the moment where Fergus will certainly be really enjoying this. You know, this a different atmosphere for what there was the last time that we came out to lift open the flag up here. So yeah, looking forward to it. Really nice.
Yeah, and I suppose, I mean, it's obviously a special day for Ronnie Dyla as well, his first game as Celtic manager, but this stadium is a spectacular testament to how far we've come as a club since Fergus rescued us back in 1994.
Well, he did say what he was wanting to do. He would have a brand new stadium, and obviously got the league title done in 97-98, but the most important thing was that he gave the fans the club. He gave them the opportunity to put the wee bit into the club.
Well, the Dundee United players forming our Guard of Honour as the Celtic players come out to a rapturous reception. The famous strains of Glenn Daly with the Celtic song singing. It's Charlie Mulgrew who's taking the captain's armband this afternoon, although Scott Brown will be coming out with the chairman Ian Banky and of course Fergus McCann to raise the league flag. Always a nice touch, I think, when an opposition team, Tom, just form that Guard of Honour. Just an acknowledgement. Once the game starts, there'll be no standing in ceremony from Dundee United, but you know, it's nice to see we've done that as well. You know,
well, you know, Dundee United will be doing that, but that's probably a bit of hostility they'll probably give us today. It's nice to see it, nice gesture for, you know, the rewards that Celtic had put in last season, the efforts they put in, and you know, Dundee United have started quite well this season, so they'll want to, you know, go out and continue their run just now.
The party coming out. It's going to be Ian Banky, the chairman of the SPFL, and Scott Brown will come out as well, looking slightly unfamiliar, dressed in a suit with the shirt and tie. You normally see him with the green and white hooks on and the captain's armband, but this afternoon obviously a big miss. And
I think you've certainly seen some of the games that we have played this season, especially the Champions League games where Scott has been missed his drive in the middle of the park, and we certainly hope somebody can take up that mantle in the games to come.
Well, at the moment, Fergus McCann, you can see him there on your screens, such an important figure in Celtic's history. March 1994, of course, was when he stepped in to save the club, rescue the club, and put the foundations for the situation, the success we've had since then. And I'm sure that the cheer that he will receive when he walks out into Celtic Park will be absolutely rapturous.
Yeah, I think it would definitely. I wish I just had put my bonnet on just in honour of the man. I see so many people round about having their bonnets on for today to certainly give him a rousing reception as he pops through the tunnel.
Well, the Celtic fans will cheer, rightly so, for Fergus McCann, and listen to that cheer. And I think Fergus is just going to have a few words, so we shall also just listen to what Fergus has to say to his fellow Celtic supporters.
Thank you very much. What an honour it is to be here, just to be here at Celtic Park with you. And things can go up and things can go down. But Celtic, I will hope, will go on forever. We have 3 years of championships to celebrate today, not just one. And I'm delighted to be here with Mr. Chairman of the club, Ian Bank here, and with all of you today to help raise this flag and tell us once again that we are the champions. Thank you very much.
Okay, so
once again, the passage of time that makes people, I think, appreciate even more just what Fergus did for the club.
Well, the legacy is here to see. The stadium that is magnificent with the crowd in here today. That's what Fergus McCann has left us with a fantastic stadium. Fit and proper for top level European football.
We're going to get the countdown for the flag being raised.
2, 1.
And as Fergus McCann said, that flag flying over Celtic Park shows that once again we are the Scottish champions.